Hi everyone, I'm Sam Eckmann of Gold Derby, and I'm here with Michael Cyril Creighton of Only Murders in the Building. You did not start this series, Michael, as a main character, but you've season three, after returning for many great moments, you're now really a central part of this story. Are you surprised by the way your character has been expanded on and beefed up this
Yeah,
season?
yeah, big time. I mean, I was surprised. Sorry, New York City. There's
Yeah,
alarms there. Um, I
there we go.
again. Sorry about that. So I am surprised. I mean, I think it was just supposed to be one, maybe two episode guest arc, and the first episode I did was episode two of season one. The second episode I did of season one, I did almost completely alone because I had just gotten over COVID and we were trying to like be very safe. So I filmed all of my scenes by myself. And I thought that was the end for me. I thought I was done. So to the fact that they kept writing for Howard and kept bringing him back is incredible. And then season three to be like Marty's sidekick and see what Howard's like with a little bit of power was very exciting.
Yeah. What's as the series has gone on, and of course this season you have so much more material, what's the favorite thing that you've discovered about Howard as he's been expanded?
It's been really nice to see his vulnerability and how much heart he has because I think at first we just knew he was a gossip and highly emotional, but there's so much truth under all of his dramatics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He so deeply wants to be part of the group. He so deeply wants to be respected. He's trying to find what he's good at. I think that's like a key to Howard through every season. He's trying to figure out where his place is and how he fits in. So I think there's like a universality to him that I didn't realize was there when we did season one. And it just gets more and more, vibrant each season.
Hmm. Well, the fire engine sirens are reminding me how quintessential that's a quintessential New York experience, which is it's a quintessential New York show, I think.
Yeah.
Only Murders in the Building. And I feel like so many of these characters are only people that could exist in New York City in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any kind of crazy denizens of the city that you've encountered that inspire you for your characterization?
Um, he's pretty singular. I mean, I feel like I grasp from everything. Everybody I meet, there's a little piece of them in all my characters. But no, he's coming straight from me and taking my emotional life and just sort of making it more extreme, much more extreme, I would say. So there are elements of him that are very much like me, and I just amp them up really, really hardcore.
He is really amped up because I love that he gets so I feel like he takes things incredibly seriously, which leads to him existing at this very heightened state a lot of the time. What is
Yes.
it like always having to have that much energy and being at this heightened mode for the whole
It's a,
shoot?
I mean, it's a little exhausting, but in the most satisfying way. It's like actually quite cathartic. But he does operate on a plane that if I operated that way every day of my life, I don't know how I would function. It's there's already this excitement in the room just because who's in the room every single time. It's just dream after dream of actor, whether it be the trio, whether it be a guest star. Um, so there's already like real energy in the room that's amped up, and then Howard's energy is on top of that. It's a lot of fun to play, and it is a little exhausting sometimes.
Yeah. But I think it leads to you often coming like you get to kind of pop into scenes and get the funny line or the
Yeah.
funny beat at the end. That must feel good, I imagine,
Oh
especially
yeah.
given the company you're in.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It feels great to feels great to make that trio of actors laugh. That's one of the greatest moments in my professional career. Is just making Martin Short laugh is a dream. Um, but yeah, I feel really excited and honored that like I feel like the audience knows Howard so well that just a little bit of him goes a really long way. So I feel like I get these little moments and scenes where I pop in and you know so much about him that you don't need any of the extra stuff around it. So that's like a great place to be in, I feel.
Mm,
You know, I only have
yeah.
to work a few days an episode. It's fantastic.
Added bonus. The decision to pair you with Martin Short is really great because you guys have a really interesting chemistry together, I think, and bounce off each other well. What is that like being in the scene and being able to volley with him so much this season?
It's it is really a dream come true that I never even thought would be a reality. I mean, just it is there is always sort of this aspect. It's we know each other pretty well by now. We get along really well. It's he's such they're such kind people, so that's there's never been an issue being nervous around them in that way. Um, but there is always something in the back of your head, in my head at least, where you're in the scene as the character, but you're also like, and I'm acting with Martin Short, and he is an idol of mine. It is, it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, he seems like someone, there's several people who feel like there are folks that would be very down to kind of like improv and play around. Is there room for that on this show a lot, or is it really by the book?
We're pretty by the book. I mean, we do most takes scripted, and that's a real testament to John Hoffman, our showrunner, and the writers who are all really meticulous about the writing and really love these characters. So I've never really seen a line and thought, oh, I wouldn't say this. But they're open to, tweaking things here and there if you need to. And then usually we do a freedom take at the end. And that is sometimes we don't need them because the right, but sometimes it's fun if we have time to do a freedom take. And those are always really fun.
Yeah. Is there anything that comes out of those that you always hope that they make it into the final cut?
They usually end with Marty like snapping at me and me just sort of deferring to him. And I always like that dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were talking before about the amazing group of actors that keep coming in. That's part of the fun of this show is all the folks that keep adding. This
Yeah.
season, you had a ton of time with Meryl Streep,
Oh
just
my gosh.
a little unknown actress, Meryl Streep. Do you have a favorite on-set memory with her?
Yeah, I would say the most incredible day on set this far, and maybe my most incredible day on a set period, was watching her sing the Pascal Paul Sarah Bareilles lullaby. It was the most beautiful show busy moment. It felt like she was singing to all of us, and there were tears in everybody's eyes. They were completely real. And take after take after take, she was perfect and different every time. And at one point, Steve Martin turned to me and said, "This feels really special, doesn't it?" It's like, yeah, yeah, it feels really special for everyone. It wasn't lost on anybody how great that was. So that was a really amazing day. But also, any day she was there, she was really um, so fun and so nice and a real team player. And it felt like it's crazy to be in a room of people of that stature and there's still no ego. Do you know what I mean? Anywhere, it's all everybody's just excited to be there from top to bottom. So that's pretty cool.
Do you have any kind of particular lessons you've taken away from working with folks of that stature?
I think there are things that I knew, but they've been reiterated. Be kind to everyone. I would say the trio, Steve, Marty, and Selena, like lead by example. They are so nice and so genuinely warm to every person that walks in that room, be it a day player or Meryl Streep. So I've learned kindness goes a long way. Be on time, know your lines, and have a good time. It's really it's so weirdly simple. It's just be kind, know your lines, and be on time.
Yeah. You you have worked as a day player quite a lot. You've done a lot of guest spots on so many series.
Yeah.
And I imagine there's a certain skill set you have to develop for that because there's always a new style to adopt on the show. There's a new director all the time. How do you kind of become flexible enough and maintain that flexibility to hop between all of these different worlds all the time?
I find it really fun. It's nice to. I never get bored. I mean, I could play Howard for the rest of my life. It's a different story. Like it's really nice to be settled into one character for sort of a longer period of time. But I think there's, you have to like, I always know my place when I'm a guest on someone else's show. You're there to say your lines and do your job, and it's not your show, and keep your ego low and be easy to work with and friendly and remember everybody's names and be nice to the crew. And that's basically what how I approach it. It's, you're a guest in someone else's house when you're doing a guest star spot, and you want to be invited back. So that's basically the way I handle it. And I love the variety of things. If I could jump between drama and comedy and hour long and half hour and stuff, I would do that for a very long time.
Yeah. Well, Howard is, I think, very obsessed with, especially this season, like solving the murder each time. Have you, as the series debuts, do you keep up with all of the theorizing and fan theories online? Because everyone gets so obsessed with trying to figure it out before the finale.
I have snuck around and read some theories. I know there's always a theory, and this makes me absolutely delighted. There's always a theory in the beginning of every season, and it could be true at this season. We have no idea, but there's always a theory that I'm the killer and I'm a mastermind and I'm involved in everything. And that really makes me happy because from the beginning with this character, because I don't like to know what's going to happen until I get the episodes. So there's oftentimes I try to play things with a sort of hint of sinisterism, I guess you would say, or a hint of menace. I always think maybe it is me. I mean, every season I'm like, maybe I did do it. So far, we don't know. But yeah, I love the theories, and I don't tell my husband anything about the plot other than some stuff that I do. So I get to hear his theories every week as the episodes come out, and it's really hard to misdirect. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes he's right, and I just have to be like, no, no, it couldn't be that. But yeah, I love the sleuthing.
Is the not knowing what comes next ever difficult? Like, do you ever get a script and think, oh no, I haven't been playing the character this way? How do you deal with
Mm,
that?
Not for me. I feel like I mean, every episode I have learned something new about Howard almost every single episode we get, and there are things that can be built upon and sometimes things that contradict one thing or another, but that seems very real to the world and seems real to Howard, that he is often two things at once. He's very gentle yet very sour. Like, I've never felt like, oh, I'm playing it wrong. I am often surprised when I get a script about a new little detail I find out about him. I didn't know he was a librarian until like season 2, and I didn't know he yodeled until season 2. And we didn't know he would have theatrical aspirations until the end of season 2, and then that really drove him into season 3, which was really fun.
Yeah. Well, I think probably the first time, speaking of theatrical aspirations, the first time I ever saw you in anything was your web series, Jack in the Box,
Yeah.
which is I think very near and dear to many folks in the New York theater scene, which I think you got 30 Rock right after that, right? I
30
assume
Rock
that.
during it. It was like
Oh, during.
I think it was during it. It's really why I got 30 Rock, because Katja Blickfeld, who was the casting director at the time of 30 Rock, I saw her at an opening night for a play when I was working in the box office, and she said, you'd be really great on this show I work on. And I was like, oh, cool. I had no idea who she was at the time. I didn't know what the show was. And then the day after I got an audition for 30 Rock, I had never auditioned for a TV show in my life, ever. I had never, that was like my first TV audition and my first real TV job. Um, and that was great. So that web series opened a ton of doors for me, by
Yeah.
for sure.
It's very real, and as someone who worked that box office life as well, it connected on a spiritual and deeply painful level in
Yes,
many ways.
deeply, deeply.
Uh, but now that you have this gig and you're a series regular on Only Murders, what would that younger Jack in a Box version of Michael think of all of this?
I think he'd be blown away. I mean, I'm an ambitious person for sure, but I never really think too far ahead. And I think at that time thought, oh, I'll do a couple um guest star things or co-star things. At that point, I'll do a co-star here and there, and maybe I'll get in a play. And that was like, the goal. And then TV sort of I sort of kept working in TV, and that was new for me. And I realized how much I loved it. So I'm really grateful that it keeps coming for now. Um, I think I think I'd be surprised, but also, not that surprised.
Well, it's a great transition and wonderful job on season 3 of Only Murders in the Building. We can't wait to see what comes next with Howard and his cats and all of his obsessions. So thank you so much,
Yeah,
Michael, for sitting down and talking with me.
no problem. Thanks for meeting with me. I'll see you soon.